station. You've heard us talk about esports here on Good Things. It's taken off in Mississippi, and here's a great headline that we're going to dive into. PlayVS just announced that Special Olympics Mississippi is officially joining its Unified Esports League. And we've got DeMarcus from Special Olympics Mississippi and Aaron with PlayVS. Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey there.
It's doing well, and I love this. Rhino and I both have really gotten into the whole esports thing happening in Mississippi for our youth. We think it's super cool and lots of potential. So I'm going to start with you, Aaron, with PlayVS. How did this sort of partnership come about? At what point did you guys say, you know what, we need to expand and we need to be more inclusive with who our players are?
Yeah, so this started almost 3 years ago now. We piloted some leagues with the Special Olympics North America to try to see if this is something that they were interested in. We knew the Special Olympics was looking to expand their offerings of unified sports as well, too. And it really kind of came together in the fall of 2021. So we've been in the partnership now for almost officially 2 years as the kind of the official platform for the Special Olympics. And it's really promotion and the shared idea of inclusion and making sure that we're obviously giving this opportunity to more students and more schools.
Because the cool part is that there are scholastic competitive gaming opportunities as well as grants, as well as scholarships and all those fun things. So, DeMarcus, being with the Special Olympics Mississippi, you guys have already got a plethora of sports and things for their competitors to excel at. What do you think about whenever gaming came to the table?
So when we first started, we basically start with our sports is basketball, mostly flag football. We have bowling. We have a lot of different sports, as you said. But when esports came to the table, it offered our competitors a different option outside of actually participating in sports. Because as we know, not all kids want to do everything. So when you give them the idea of actually playing games, and we know how big it is nowadays, they actually get an opportunity and provide them an opportunity to earn recognition, develop critical thinking skills. You know, some of the things that we don't necessarily, that our parents once told us was bad, we realize now they're actually good for their skill set as growing up. So e-gaming is going to be great and even better simply because we know how big FIFA, 2K, Mario Kart, Rocket League, those things are. So offering those opportunities to our unified champion schools and giving them something else to do outside of physical activity and actually giving them something to do with their minds and actually thinking things through, I think it is a great opportunity for the youth.
So, DeMarcus, will there be a team a chance for a team at each of those unified schools, or will it be one Special Olympics teams made up of players from those schools, if my question makes sense?
Oh, yeah, I understand. How we're going to operate is the way we operate all our unified champion school leagues. So it will be a team at each school, and it'll be a team in each area. With Special Olympics, we operate in areas, which is a community-based program teams, and we operate as UCS schools, Unified Champion Schools, which is our school-based teams. So we'll have teams in each area, and hopefully we'll get this league off and running. And the way we'll be working with PlayVS on playing in their league, we'll also be playing in the regions. And it'll be just like a competition they have across the nation, and hopefully these kids will have the opportunity to show their skills on the game.
So, Aaron, I know we've had PlayVS here on Good Things before. I know there was the high school championship. I think it took place in the Pine Belt area here not too long ago. Will the teams from the Special Olympics get to play either alongside or at least within the same day or time frame or week or whatever with the other high school teams, or will it be two separate events, if I'm making sense?
Yeah, so the hope is to actually get it to the point where they are competing side by side. We actually just had, this has been a growing thing for us, and so most of our leagues right now are regional leagues. So schools and unified schools in Mississippi, like next season, will actually be competing with like schools on the East Coast. But we actually just had our first in-person championship this past weekend, actually in Oklahoma. With a unified esports state league. They were alongside every other championship that was happening with their state association. So the hope is eventually that they are competing side by side at the same event, getting the same recognition as well too, as we kind of grow out these leagues and kind of give them that same opportunity. And luckily too, a lot of our leagues, they operate at the same time and the same days as our traditional leagues. So it's a big get for us as well, too, to talk to schools in Mississippi that may already have an esports program. here's a way for you to be even more inclusive, to even add more teams and more players to your rosters by adding a unified team as well.
How many is on a team, Aaron? Is it a small number, big number? Do they rotate? They have people on benches,
Yeah. So it varies by title. So the two titles that we compete in on the Unified are Rocket League. So those consist of 3 players, 2 Special Olympic athletes, and one unified partner. So that's people with intellectual disabilities and one without. 2, which is a 4-person team, and that would be 2 Special Olympic athletes and 2 unified partners. And we really leave it up to the schools. The great thing is you can field more than one team. So if a school has enough interest and enough players, they can have 3 or 4 different Mario Kart teams if they want to. There's no limit to that. But also, too, we also see if schools are going to want to start small and just kind of get their feet wet in the opportunity, they can also sub in players, rotate week by week as well, too, of who's going to be on their starting rosters.
DeMarcus, I'm sure that this is probably starting in schools that may already have an idea of what esports is, or are you having these conversations of like, okay, yes, it's gaming, but it's a sport, it's legit, or do you find people receptive to it?
Yeah, like I said, coming from just sports based, when you have basketball, flag football, and opportunities like that, where you see the most intrigue is from teams that's already unified, like teams that's already set. Like you have some schools here in Mississippi that already have e-gaming, but where we come from with unified sports is we operate with traditional student athletes, partnering with these athletes with intellectual disabilities. So that's where the unified aspect come in at. And not only will they get a chance to participate by playing together, but they also get a chance by playing against each other. And that's where the competitive spirit comes in. So when you get some of these schools and they say, well, how is it a sport? Well, it's a sport because these kids are using the same competitive spirit. They're using the same skills because it takes skills to win a game. And we want to make sure that they see that as just as competitive as a basketball game.
Any parent who's got a kid that's into gaming, DeMarcus, that walks past their kid's room and they're on their little headsets and they're cheering and they're, getting angry but then getting excited and all of that, completely understands that there is a huge competitive potential sort of here. I love that it's just something in addition to the physical activity sports. It just opens another avenue. And
also help kids grow in the tech field, because not only does gaming just has the kids sitting in front of it playing, but it also helps the kids grow into STEM, because not only will that kid be playing, but they may want to figure out how to create their own game. They may want to figure out how to build their own computer and just work on it that way. It creates so many different opportunities and advantages for the kids.
Oh, I love that. And Aaron, too, reminding parents that there are scholarship opportunities. There are kids who are making, good money. Not that that's what you should be striving for, and it's a small pool of gamers that are. But, what we once thought was just sort of a waste of time, and there has to be a balance. If your kid's really into it and really good, there are avenues of making it, getting the most out of it.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Every day I hear about a new college that's offering an esports scholarship, or now there's even schools offering esports, like sports marketing minors and things like that as well, too. I even know in Mississippi, Ole Miss is a really big program that has a big esports program. University having our on April 28th also has a really fantastic program as well, too. And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like we recognize, and these are things that students are already doing, and so now they're doing it in a structured environment where there's accolation, there's ability for them to build teamwork and build leadership skills as well too, and then on top of all that, actually maybe earn scholarship money. It's just a win-win all around.
All right, DeMarcus, where do families here in Mississippi that are interested in Special Olympics and then also now this esports, where can they go to learn more information, ask their kids' school if they're interested in this, all the things?
For one, they can go to playversus.com/SO-unified. But I will be going to all our unified schools and all our liaisons. They will have information on esports coming up in this next school year. They'll have that information along with the information on our unified sports. So not only will the kids be able to play alongside them in basketball, flag football, but they had an opportunity to join these esports clubs. And we're hoping that a lot of kids join, because we know that it's the opportunity for them. They want to. it's just giving them the resource and advantages and opportunities to actually play against these kids.
Well, we'll be following the story, DeMarcus, so you be thinking of some players that you would like to have them share their story here. I think it's super cool. Aaron, thank you for your time and all that PlayVS is doing here in Mississippi for esports.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys
so much for having me.
All righty, you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up.